Welcome to our kitchen today, Joy Phido International. As part of what we do, we tend to talk about nutritional foods, food that gives a lot of nutrients. And what our focus is going to be under this part of our nutritional food is the African foods, foods that are African in nature or something that's very traditional to us, but can also be eaten by anybody out there who appreciates the value of nutrients. My name is Joy Phido and welcome on board. Okay, so okra soup is the main thing that we're trying to create. Most times when we say soup, people get so confused with what soup is and what sauce is. To us Africans, we call it soup. But anybody else watching this, think of it as a sauce ready to eat something with. And we can use this sauce to eat so many varied things. We're going to talk that much later, but for now, let's focus on creating the sauce or the soup. So the main ingredient is the okra. And this is what they look like. They're thin, long, they have different varieties. But this, it has to be as fresh as this. Once we've got the okra, the next thing we need is the spinach that goes with it, or the vegetable. So what I've just shown you is there are two types of it you might find in the shop. This is a regular, very long leaves, and these are the ones they call baby spinach. They're really small. Both of them okay for your soup or your sauce, depending on what you found in the shop. Now for the protein, what do we want to use? So this is beef, fresh beef, and this is dry fish. Again, dry fish is optional. If you can't find the fish, don't worry about it. Focus on the beef. You can also use chicken, you can also use fresh fish. Now most times fresh fish, because of the bone in it, people tend to stay away from it when cooking okra because they're quite slimy and they might infuse with the bone and get to your throat. Anyway, once we've got the main protein, we'll look at what makes this sauce quite tasty. So onions, we've diced some here. Onions are regular onions. Garlic, we've got some peeled clove of garlic. Some spices, this is rosemary. And some, this is like, we call it Maggi cube. They are kind of really nice for spicing our food and giving that lovely taste. And then of course, this is what we call the Scotch bonnet. They're very hot. If you're cooking this and you hate hot food, don't bother with them. You can just use spices, different types of spices, thyme, oregano, or any other spice that will make it interesting for you. But for the sake of what we're doing today, we're working with just the rosemary. So that's our ingredients introduced. So what I'm trying to do now is make sure this onions is a lot smaller. Now remember, when you're cutting, be careful with knives, they're very sharp. So I'm dicing these onions. What I want to do now is steam this meat ready for cooking. And so I'm going to put all these onions in it. What does onions do? It helps to give it a lot of taste. So we're seasoning this meat now, ready to cook with it. Now what you could also have done is just blend this. Okay, so I finished dicing the garlic and I added there. So I'm going to chop a little bit of the Scotch bonnet and add a little bit of rosemary. So again, gauge it. I love a hint of, that smell is amazing. It gives you a lovely aroma. Then we put the Maggi cube. Sprinkle that into the meat. I'll just put 2 for the sake of it. Table salt. Okay, I'm cutting this Scotch bonnet. This is one of the hottest pepper there is, extremely hot. The one good thing with them though is they're not too hot on the hands, but they can be really hot on the tongue. But I will not cut them with my hands, please. So that's why you see me using a fork to dice it into little bits. I won't let this come near my hand at all because it will be hot all day if you did touch them. Done. Okay, so I put everything in there now. Make sure it's all nicely mixed in. When my hand is being washed, remember to always wash your hand when you're cooking. So this is all blended in. I didn't add the pepper yet, which I will not until I put it in the pot. So now I'm going to put this in the pot, ready for steaming. So cooker has been put on. Now you allow it to steam. So I just keep letting you know as we progress when these things are ready for cooking. Okay, so we're getting ready to prepare our sauce. First thing we do is prepare the spinach. These are the bigger leaves of spinach. So what I tend to do, all of this part, the stems are all part of what vegetable is. So I don't really make it a big deal to go and take it from there and throw that away. I just work with them like that. So I take that off and I carry on with this. So I'm putting that in a colander to sift it through so I can wash it very easily. Okay, so make sure it's really washed because these come really sandy. There's a lot of sand on them. They're coming straight from the ground. It's not like the packaged one that's all washed. These ones are fresh. So wash, make sure this is all clean, and then you drop it in because we're going to just cut it. Put it in your cutting board. Remember I said I work with all of them. So this is me. This is how I think. Vegetable to me is as fresh as nature wants us to eat. So I'm not fussy about taking bits and bobs out. And so it's the way you like it that you prepare it, please. Okay, so this is how I cut. Just a big fat line across it. They all come to my hand. Be as close to the sink as possible so water is pouring off. So just chop, chop, chop. Remember, knife sharp. Watch your fingers. okra, you take off the tail. Take off the tail. That's it. Tail. Now okra, designing of the okra cutting is down to you. You can just go that like that. And what you're going to get is just round sizes of okra in your sauce. See that? I had a call one recently and someone was asking me, how do I cut the okra? How do I cook okra? And that's why it's one of the reasons we decided to do this. So that's one way of cutting the okra. Just straight knife across and that's it. The other way, you've got the tail cut off. Knife goes into it. And then you cut. What you get is smaller dices. More and smaller. And that's another way of cutting it. But I'll tell you what I do. I cut quite a bit of tail off. And I cut. So it saves me time. And if I wanted it to be smaller, I go like that, like that. They all come together and I cut. Last time in the kitchen cutting okra. Okay, so this is a grater. They come in different sizes or designs. People use that to cut okra. They go like that. You see the holes, they actually cut the okra into the design you want. If you want it really tight, you go that way, and that way makes it really, because okra is very, very slimy. So it makes it really, really small. But I don't want that, I just want a regular size okra. Okay, so this meat is really ready now. You can see how streaky they are. That's when you know meat is ready. Again, people are varied when it comes to meat. Some people like it really chunky. Well, I personally would prefer meat in a smaller dice sizes so they're easy to eat. So this is ready. Okay, so our next major ingredient is the fish, which we showed earlier. They come like this, really dry. And you can feel it, see that? But this is very dry and stiff. So what we did was boil water in your kettle, put that fish in a container like that and pour the hot water on it. That's what created this for us. Fish goes in. So now you can let them drop off. Drop off. Now I'll probably be asked, what about the bones? This fish, it's easy to eat. The bone is not one of those bony fishes that you cannot handle the bone. I know it's easy for me to say because I know fish. But what you're going to find is there's no bone to really pull out. They've already been deboned. So what you want now is for everything to stay together. Remember we created that sauce, the meat sauce. That's what's doing all this cooking. I haven't added any other water. It's the water that came from the meat that's going to steam everything together. So I'm going to put fresh garlic and onions. Remember we did say you could also blend all of this. We want to make this as fresh as possible. That's why we're not blended them. Got the Maggi cube for the taste. Again, there are people who really don't like this Maggi cube thing, the seasoning things. I know my sister for one doesn't like it because she reckons it's got things in it that are not that healthy for the body. But personally, there's so many things that are not healthy for us. I will still eat them. So this I go with, it just got salt and other things in it. So I put that in. A hint more of my spices. Because now I'm ready, I'm actually cooking now, ready for the main food. It's no longer being steamed. One of the big things we use when we're cooking our sauce back home in Africa. So I'm going to put some palm oil in this. Again, questions. There are different types of oils, but two of the really good ones that people really did have issues with in the past was palm oil and coconut oil. And they found out that they're actually very good compared to the other types of oils that we work with, like vegetable oil. So I'm going to leave this to simmer, and everything is going to blend together. So remember that we did put salt, yes, and pepper when we're steaming that meat, so everything is together in there now. Align it to cook and all blend together. So allow this to cook now. Give it at least 10 minutes. Start with 5 minutes, check and see how it's going, and then progress it the way. Remember, the meat is already done, so there's not much that is requiring cooking here. It's just for everything to come together taste-wise. So that's what we're looking at now. So 5 minutes, and then we'll look at it, and after that we'll check again and see how it's going. So the stick goes into perfect. So now I introduce my okra. Okay, so you can. So now all I've done is I stirred all the vegetable in, all the okra in, everything is ready now. It's ready to eat. Ready to eat. I love the freshness of the vegetable. That's how I love my sauce. Some people probably cook it a bit more, but for me, the minute it steams, vegetable is ready. And I love fish. So for me in particular, we got the dry fish. But of course, other members of the house love their beef, chicken, and all of that. So that's a very rich sauce there. You can use this sauce to eat most things. You can use it to eat rice. My husband likes to eat rice with it. You can eat what we call gari. Some people semolina. Semolina? Yeah, there are so many things you can eat with it. So for me, this is how I eat it. I just eat it. I don't add any more things to it. And that's your sauce. Yum. Love it.